All having an unbelievable day. We've got a great show for you today. It is going to be fantastic. So could you could hear that, Marianne? Did you push a button and make that go away? Okay, so give me another start. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. It's Tom Chenault, and it's the Tom Chenault Show. I hope you're having an unbelievably great day. We have got Jeff I can't say his name, Altgilbers with us today. I've never been able to say it correctly, and he is just a rock star of a guy. Every time I turn around, somebody is talking to me about Jeff. And it's always incredibly good news. Like this guy stands above the crowd, and he's actively involved with Higdon and that crew. He's actively involved on his Facebook page. I watched so much of his live broadcast from the Super Bowl this last weekend. That was unbelievable, a once in a lifetime experience. This guy is a 41-year overnight success. And when I first met him, he was so quiet. I'll never forget it. I was at the very first meeting I had where Eric Warre was doing the 6 and 7 figure earners meeting. And here's this quiet guy sitting in front of me with his wife. He's just being completely kind to his wife. He's completely kind to everybody around him. And Eric kept telling people to raise their hand if they hit these certain income benchmarks. And one of the very few hands left raised was Jeff's. And I said, holy mackerel, this guy is the real deal. So I got to know him, and I couldn't believe the humility of the man who had such gratitude for a 40-year career in this business. He is a testimony to this profession. We are lucky to have him in the profession and on this show. Jeff, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Tom.
You're
Nice
busy.
to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you, man. I'm telling you, I watched your episode with Eric Warre a couple of days ago as preparation to this show, and I'm just telling you, you have been around a long time, some of it good, some of it bad, but always staying in the game. So let's from when did you get in this game? 40 years ago was a long time. That had to be at the beginning of the 80s. Talk about what got you in and what kept you in, if you don't mind.
Well, what got me in was because somebody asked me to get in.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that you don't know what it's about, and mostly it's at that time it was about product sales, 1978, and somebody had me buy a case and sell it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a great business opportunity. So considering at the time the only thing I was doing was cleaning offices at night and washing windows around town, I thought, why not? And
And
so back then, it was pre-internet, pre-cell phone, uh, pre-personal computer. Just there was nothing. The only thing you had was products and brochures. So considering at the time the only thing I was doing was cleaning offices at night and washing windows
yep, we
around town,
an
I
echo
thought,
just
why
came on
not?
top.
And so back then,
No, no, she got it. That turned it off. That was might have been me. Sorry about that. I just spoke right over the top of both of us, and I gave Marianne a dirty look. I turned a different monitor on to try to keep an eye on the comments around Jeff because I know he is an icon out there. So as he was speaking, I was trying to track him, and my speaker was on, and it was feeding right into the main microphone on the show. So it completely trapped us all. So that was my fault, Jeff. Continue to go on. So yeah, so it was just you just got started. It turned on. Rather slow for you, as I understand, but you never gave up, right?
that's right. That's right. So there wasn't a lot of focus on team building back then. It just, you would have some distributors that you would sell the product down to, and then you would pay them their commissions at the end of the month when you got paid. And that's how we did it back then.
Wow. So you've come a long way, baby, then. And were you an immediate success? Jeff, I know the answer to this question, but I'm asking you, tell people what you went through. Tell people how hard it was, because now in this day and age, it is such a super highway out there with the internet and the way that products gets around. Back in the good old days or the bad old days, the upline was paying the downline. I mean, everything was, your printout for your commission check was about 4 feet high. They would send you reams of paper. It was crazy, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I I re I remember one time I ordered a printout. This was well, this would probably have been about 1993. No, no, not 93. 2003. 2003. That was the last time I ever ordered a printout. Because I saw UPS pull up at the house. I got off my Sea-Doo because I had a lake house, and I saw them drive away. And I went up and looked at the porch and saw this big old box, and I thought, I don't remember ordering that much product. Opened it up, it was the printout, and I thought, wow, I killed a tree. I'll never do that again.
Wow.
That was the last time I ordered a printout.
Yeah, and you'd go through them. You just go through them page after page, and you could not tell if you were getting paid on time. And you just go through pages and pages and reams of paper, and that was the way done. And you'd be mailing around these big 8-track cassettes, and they finally got the small cassettes, and we thought we had arrived. And here came the fax machine, and life got even better. And then those little CDs that they still send around a little bit, and now those things are obsolete. And all you little yuppies and all you little Gen Xers are all talking about how tough it is. I'll tell you what, those were the hard days. That was like walking through 4 feet of snow for 2 miles to school. And Jeff did it and lived through it. I did it and lived through it to plow the way for all you kids that are killing it with social media and all the various things that you're doing to be successful. But what's magic about Jeff, which is not magic about Tom Chenault or almost anybody else of our generation that I know, is Jeff has embraced the change. When I talked to you in the hallway outside of GoPro and you were telling me what lengths you'd gone to get relevant, I was in shock. And you have really done it, and you are playing the game bigger than you've ever played it, right, Jeff?
Yeah, it's change, and change is never comfortable, even when it's for the better. And that that's one of the biggest challenges I think of your and my generation is the seeing a paradigm shift and shifting with it. Most don't. They want to go back and do the same old methods, expect the same results, but when they don't get that, then they come up with the wrong reasons why. And then they come up with maybe I just got to do it longer. Or the problem is the upline. Oh, the stupid company. Oh, the stupid downline. Or the stupid prospect. But we don't look at it, so much at ourselves and say, hey, am I really progressive? And so that's the thing. And then I think over the decades of the last 40 years, I've always shifted. I've always been progressive. I've always been curious. In other companies, I see their successes, and I'll say, why? Why are they successful? What are they doing? How do they do it? And how long do you have to do it before you see results? And a lot of those questions. And then I found that when you stay in that state of curiosity, then that makes you more adaptable to change. And that's the thing. And and that's what I did. And so, and every time we do the shift, I find that it gets easier in what we do. And so I love it. I love the whole social media aspect of it. I think that's great. The concept of attraction marketing, I think that's so much powerful to do it that way, that approach versus always being the hunter. And then you go to being the hunted and people are reaching out to you. I like it. I like a lot of the things that I've learned that that I'm using now. It's working very well.
So with Eric Worre and with Ray Higdon and the very people that I see you speaking at, speaking for, I see you on their web pages as testimonials to somebody that has embraced that training with social media and basically learning how to do that in this day and age. Would you say that everybody can learn it if they've got the, if they just have the desire? I mean, you obviously probably weren't some sort of computer nerd when you were, 5 years ago. You decided to embrace this and it worked out. Is that correct?
No, that's right. I'm not a techie person at all. Matter of fact, I don't like that stuff. But I'm a promoter. That's it. I'm good at. I have people skills, and that's it. And the first book that I read that helped me the most was How to Win Friends and Influence People. And so I applied that book in my life, and that's it. But as far as, and I'm not. No, anybody can learn this. I find that the problem with most people in network marketing is they want fast results quickly from their social media, that they put out there, their time that they put into it. It doesn't work like that. I encourage people in the beginning when they first start to master the skill set, Tom, that you and I have learned so many decades ago. That is still, to me, where people all start in this business. I don't want them posting about their products or their opportunity on their Facebook page when they join. Matter of fact, I have a 30-minute, not a 30-minute, I have your first 30-day video that I will tag them to. That's less than 5 minutes, explains what they have to do their first 30 days. And one of the warnings I give them is don't post about your products or your opportunity on your Facebook page. You can post anything else you want. Just don't post about that. You'll come to that later on when you're ready for it. But in the beginning, they're not ready for it. And the thing is, marketing takes time. It takes time to see results. And most will not stick around long enough to see those results. And I've even seen great network marketers, and they're never consistent. They're never consistent on their page, on their content. They expect too much too soon, and then they get, disenchanted with it and they stop it. So in the beginning, I want people to master the skill set so they can make money. I want to make money in the beginning. And then once they have an income established, they work their warm market good enough that now they're ready to move into attraction marketing, then sure, then that's the time. But to go into it in the very beginning, I would not advise that for most people, because they're gonna, it's just going to take a while to see results, and most will never stay with it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're coming back right after this on the Genesis Communication Network. All right, we're back. Okay, so Jeff, here's the deal. We are on a huge satellite network on regular radio, so their hard breaks are always at 19 minutes. It comes back here at about 23. We go to 29, and then we're out for 5 minutes. So during these breaks, I could stick a stupid commercial in here, or I could just shoot from the hip and talk about what I'm passionate about and the events that I'm going to and the people that I love. So I like Ray Higdon, who I am a huge fan of. Adrian, my son, and I are going to go down and present contact mapping to Ray and everybody at his Rank Makers Academy next month. And that is going to be an unbelievable event. We're going to teach them how to contact map. Go to contactmapping.com to learn more about that. Then we're going to Women's Go Pro, which will be incredible. You want to go to that, men or women. It is one of my favorite events that you want to definitely is on April 25th to 27th of 2019. And a third thing I want you to go to, maybe if you're going down to Australia, Fraser Brooks and Rob Sperry are having an event down there that is going to be over the top also on March 9th and March 10th. And that will be in the Gold Coast. And I'm going to go down for that also with Adrian. We're going to turn it loose. So we've got some traveling to do coming up. We've got obviously Higdon. Then we go to Fraser and Rob. Then we go to GoPro for women. And then to the ANMP, which is the Association of Network Marketing Professionals. Jeff, I hope you'll grace us again with speaking there. You're just an unbelievable guy and a tremendous you're just a stand for our profession. We'd love to have you at that event too. So that's what I'm going to. And the reason I'm telling you guys all this during the commercial is because I want you to realize if you want to make it to the top of this profession, you may think that your company's given you all that information and your upline's given you all that information. I'm not sure I agree with that. And I don't think you can ever stop learning. I think the Richard Brooks of the world can teach you things that your company might not be able to teach you. Obviously, Eric, obviously, Rob, obviously, Frazier, obviously, Ray. All those people are people that you can believe in. They won't be stealing your downline, and they're going to make you a better network marketer. And I am positive that my success came from that. So what I want you to do is think about going to those events with me, all 4 of them. I want you to go definitely get contactmapping.com. That's kind of the major sponsor for this show. Make sure you're doing that. If you get a chance and you can get into rank makers, do that. Higdon's deal is over the top. Every day I get up with people calling me on the phone, telling me something Ray Higdon said today. It just happened to me this morning with the great Ann Parker, who just drove down to my office from Denver, Colorado. Took a long drive. Her and her good buddy Mike Sullivan came down, and we sat upstairs, and I heard about Ray Higdon for about 15 minutes because he's making such an impact on people all over the country, and he's doing it for so very little money. So what you want to do is pay attention to the people that know how to teach this business and teach it, and you're off to the races. So we're coming back from the break right now. So 5 seconds of silence, and we're coming back. And we're back. It is Tom Chenault. It is the Tom Chenault Show. I hope you are having an unbelievable day. We've got Jeff Altgilbers with us, and he is a magician when it comes to network marketing. He proves nice guys finish first. We've got 2 comments during the break. People want to know what your average day looks like if you're doing all this social media stuff and you're still being that people person. Jeff, are you living on your computer, or are you able to still get out in the world and meet people, train people, teach people? How's it look for you?
Wow, good question. No, I don't live on a computer, that's for sure. Matter of fact, it was a beautiful day here in the Smoky Mountains. So I love just going outside and connecting with nature. I don't like being inside too much. But no, I usually my day looks like when I'm home. First of all, I'm home, and I'm home with the kids. I have a 10-year-old and a 17-year-old, my wife, Michelle. So usually in the morning, I like to go, I got my gym in my house. I like to go work out, get my body moving so I can get my mind moving. And maybe I might, catch something that Ray's putting out, but I'll start working on my notes, maybe on what I'm going to talk about on a Facebook Live, have that done. And then I'll set up any Zoom 3-way calls with some leaders. I do that. Calls that are planned. I schedule those out. It's not a very hectic day at all. I'm working on a book now, the Go for No authors, Richard and Andrea.
Yeah.
They're helping me on my first book. So that's going to be coming out in June. That's going to be the target month. So that is additional workload, what I'm doing, doing now. I'm also working with some other leaders on their social media strategies of putting themselves out there. Mostly connecting them with the guy that I work with up in New York City. So, just giving some guidance, but it's not that hectic. I do what I love. I could have, you could do, Tom. You don't have to do what you're doing now. So we could just sit back, put our checks away, and just call it a night. But that's not a very responsible thing to do. And that's the way I feel about it. A lot of people got me to where I am. Now I feel the responsibility to pay it back, help them get get them where they want to be. At the same time, help a lot of people in other companies who maybe they don't have good support, and yet they have that dream. They might be in a good company, but they just don't have good support and just helping people out. And I enjoy doing that.
What's your book going to be about?
It's going to be about my 40-year experience and turning points in that journey. That was what Richard and Andre asked me to do. What were some turning, give us about 15 turning points that were lessons that you learned in your journey that were very important. So, and that way. And so then I said, okay, let me work on that. And then I came up with that. And then after that, then I started, just giving them my story in relation to those points, those turning points.
And it's going to come out by March. And in between here and there, are you training people? Are you doing any outside training? Can you send people to a website to find what you're doing? What's happening there? I know that you're obviously visible in a lot of places. Do you want to talk to new people right now, or are you going to wait till the book's out?
Oh no, my book will come out in June, but no, I do. And when people ask me to speak to their teams in other companies, I do that. I sure do. Ray has got me. I'll see you in March. You're going next month, so I'll see you down there. So I'm going down there to. I don't know what he's going to have me. I think I'm on a panel that event, but I do. I have I help a lot of people in other companies that maybe they go through problems and they'll reach out to me, and then I'll get on a call with them and suggest what I think they need to do. And I always encourage people, Tom, that and I said this, Bob. Oh, my mind went blank. Well, forget it. Anyway, here's what I encourage people to do, and that is, if your company is treating you right, paying you well, the products have value, there's no reason why you should leave. You should stay with your company and just give it time. Some people just don't give it enough time. I've been over 20 years in my last company. What about you, Tom? How long have you been with yours?
22. And it's just, I left once in the middle of it. They took me back. They didn't terminate me. They just let me go out there and get my face bashed in, and waited for me to go realize that the grass wasn't greener. It's kind of like going back to my wife, same. You're just such an idiot.
Wow.
I am. And so I thank you very much for the glass of water. They heard me coughing and gagging. So at the end of the day, so you guys have to do that. So we're going to take a break. We're coming back with my buddy Jeff right after this. We're on the Genesis Communications Network. And we are back. I love these commercials, Jeff, because we just get to have fun and mess around. So Ray's event is probably sold out, so we're probably overselling it. But what do you love so much about him and the way he does things?
Well, okay. There's a lot I love about Ray and Jessica. They're just good people. I like working with good people. Ray is he's very good in marketing. He's a good sense of marketing. So when I have questions, I can go to him, ask him, is this a good idea? Not good idea? What would you suggest? He's very good at getting back with me right away on that. And in fact, I just let me see, was it January? No, it was late December. Late December, I brought a Vietnamese team down to his house, and we did a VIP day. And so that was at their home. Had a very nice, but that whole day, and everyone was prepared. Their questions, what they were looking for. He's just very resourceful, very resourceful. And I think what he does every morning, it's like a networker's cup of coffee, is that you can wake up to somebody that's training on the basics. And I think that's nice to plug my people into that, because in all my time doing that, I want to go do other things. And so Ray fills that very, special space.
Well, that's really cool. So You hired Ray when you were making probably more money than Ray. Talk about the amount of humility it takes for somebody like you with that giant check to actually humble yourself to say, I can learn from these people, like Eric's obviously big $10,000 thing and the various things that you hotshots do. Isn't it just critically important to drop your ego and do that?
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I got no problem with that.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I want to be able to teach it correctly. I
Hmm.
don't want to lead people down the wrong path. I understand that network marketing involves principles never change, just our methods and how we do it. So, and earlier you asked me, I think, and I didn't answer that very well. But yes, I still do meetings. If I go overseas, even Korea, they're still very face to face. I was there in November. I did 3 events in 3 different cities. I went to India, went to Hyderabad. I did a large event. I went to Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, the Philippines. I did all that in November. So very much I'm involved. I just came back from the Super Bowl, and being at the Super Bowl is one thing. Watching it on TV is another. So events are very important, and you go to a Pitbull concert, it's a whole different experience than just listening to Pitbull on the radio.
Yeah.
So events are very important for our business. But when it comes to the daily method of operation of prospecting and sponsoring, I find that these methods today have changed, and that the sooner we get on board with that, the better we're going to benefit from it, and we're going to sponsor people. I remember when I started 20 years ago in my company, I never left the driveway, and in 90 days I had to start over again with a list. And I was doing some advertising because that's what we did back then in network marketing magazines and all that. But in 90 days, I had a team of 800 people when I launched in that company. And that was in 90 days. And I thought, okay, how do you do that again? How do you create speed? How do you create growth? Again, if it worked 20 years ago, I wouldn't use those methods that I used 20 years ago, but what methods would you use is the question. And so when I went down to see Ray, I went down with those questions about social media and, what should I engage in? Do I need to be that involved, with certain platforms, or just get it down to one? And then, so I could see they were very pro Facebook, and for obvious reasons. So
Very
they helped
cool.
me out in those areas. And,
All right, we're going to come
yeah.
back. Let's come back from this break here. 2 seconds. Just don't talk.
Okay. Sure.
And we're back. It's Tom Chenault, and it's an incredible, incredible conversation with Jeff Altgilbers. And this guy is just about as good as they get. And he's so doggone rock solid. He's got 41 years of network marketing experience behind him at a major, major level, made tens of millions of dollars. And you have to listen to him because he shows you a couple of things here. Number one, he's not all ramped up like all these other guys that are running around. He didn't pull up, and we're not looking at this show. He's in his home office, which looks like he's got a little bit of a gymnasium behind him, and he's got some music going on. But this is not a guy that is trying to impress you with his great wealth. He's trying to talk to you about maybe having some great wisdom. And where I'm trying to get to in my life at this advanced age of 67 is exactly the same place. Where I'm talking from, I want Denny Robinson on here. I want some good network marketing wisdom, because what I see people like Jeff doing, and my wife's in a little bad to the bone group that she talks to all the time with Denny Robinson, Donna Johnson, Haley Hobson, a couple of other women, Kirschbaum, I can't remember, Emily Kirschbaum or whatever, I don't even know these women. But they all get together and they think tank it to become better people and better network marketers. And as you're listening to Jeff, he's doing the same thing. and he's raising the bar of intentionality for himself. And I want you to think if you're doing that, especially if you're a leader in your own company. And the reason I wanted to talk to Jeff was because he's such a student at such a high level of income. Because the people I work around a lot of times, they hit this benchmark of 50,000 a month or whatever number they're hitting. And all of a sudden they've decided that they're the smartest network marketers ever born, and they're not going to learn from anybody else, and they're not going to let their teams be around anybody else because they know it all. And if there's some knowledge, I'll bring it back to the team. And I'll tell you one thing right now, all of you thinking that, you aren't that good. You aren't that great. And I want you to plug into GoPro, and I want you to plug into Higdon, and I want you to plug into the ANMP. And if you are that good, we'll get you on the stage with a microphone in your hand. But once you go in there, and you're going there to speak, and a lot of people do, and I love that. You know, I get them on the stage. I'm on the board of the ANMP, and they've got a big check in their company. I get them on the stage, but I tell them that they have to come to the whole event, and they have to stay in the room the whole event. They can't be a hall rat. And they can't believe I'm such a jerk to tell them that they have to do that. But the reason I'm telling them that is because by the time they sit in that room for all that time, for 3 straight days, and listen to people like Jeff Roberti, people like Jeff, people like Larry and Taylor Thompson, people that really, really have done it in this profession, all of a sudden they don't really think they're that hip, slick, and cool anymore. And they realize they have something to learn. I am on this show doing this hour. But the practice for the game that I went through, literally stalking Jeff for 2.5 straight days, listening to his trainings online, listening to his interviews with Eric, watching his Facebook stuff about the Super Bowl, it's because it made me a better marketer, not just because I got to interview a great network marketer. So I want you to all turn on your brains and turn off your egos and listen to this guy. So is that kind of nail it, Jeff? We've got to be constant learners, right?
You nailed it, man. You nailed it. Yeah.
Long rant.
You nailed it.
Sorry. Yeah, I get on a soapbox about that.
Awesome. No, I understand where you're coming from. You're so right.
And nothing makes me crazier, by the way, and I know you can relate to this. Bertie, I'll never forget this. Jeff Weisberg, Jeff Roberti, Jordan Adler, Sean Murphy, Harris Williams, all sitting next to me at this table. They never moved for 3 straight days. And then I walk out in the hall, and here's all these guys not making any money, talking about ribbons they earned in the 4th grade. Talking about, the stuff, instead of going in there, learning from those people on the stage, they're out there in the hall talking about what woulda, coulda, and shoulda been, or some, binary they happen to get lucky on and made 50 grand a month for 2 weeks straight. No, get in there and learn the skills. If you, God bless your company, but if it went out of business tomorrow, I know that it would be 15 minutes later, your phone would be ringing off the hook. Your entire team would be saying, Jeff, where the hell are we going now? And it would be business as usual 30 days later because you are that leader, right?
That's right. And that's the important thing, isn't it? It's about those relationships we pay into and people that we have supported and we bonded with, and they're like a family. And that's exactly right. And then you got that skill set. So you take that skill set with you wherever you go.
And I never, in every one of you, I'm promising you this. You've got it. And once you've got these high level relationships like I've got, Bob Dickey, the guy that he's the president of Bonvera, called me a couple of days ago just to talk high level stuff. Al Balla, the president of Manatech, called me on the phone talking high level stuff. Richard Brook, none of those guys in a million years would ever try to recruit me. Jeff, I haven't ever been lucky enough to get you on the phone because I'm just too scared to call you. But at the end of the day, you're the kind of friend I need because I know you're going to make me better. And all I know is I don't want to retire. You're right. I could retire. You could retire. We have enough dough. Our check is going to stay stable enough with the
Yeah.
size of our organization that it's over. We can't outlive, it's pretty good chance we got it done. But at the end of the day, this is fun and you've got meaning and you get to change people's lives. That's all life really is all about, right, Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. When I see people doing well, doing very well, it pleases me very much. And that's what it's always been about the leaders. It's never been about me. But I found that if we put that value into people's lives, then it just comes back to us in such a big way.
Yeah. And I'm excited about your book. I hate to break it to you. I'll buy thousands of them. And the Go for No people are incredible.
Thank you.
No, true story. I mean, I was just, Marianne was having trouble getting you on the show, and I thought I was going to have to interview Richard Brooke without interviewing Richard Brooke. I ran upstairs to look for the last book I read because I knew that was going to be fresh in my brain, and maybe I was able to do a full hour by myself. And I was going to go, I read nonstop. People don't believe that about me because I look like such a goofball, but I live for your book. I live to learn from people like you because I know left to my own intentions, I'm going to start reading my own press clippings, stop learning, and I'm going to lose ground and become not relevant. And I don't want to ever, ever, ever be that. That's why you participate, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, here's the thing. You don't know it until you teach it, right?
Yep. 100% right.
Yeah, and that's what I've learned is why, and that's why I do Facebook Lives. It helps to keep my mind. If I'm teaching, if I'm always teaching, then I'm always learning. So I'm asking questions maybe I haven't asked before. I might hear something Ray says, and I think, yeah, that's a good thought. Or Bob Heilig. That's what I was trying to come up with a second ago. I don't know if you know Bob Heilig, but another great leader, and he's got the Legacy Group. I like plugging into what he does. And so, yeah, but when you teach something, that's when you really know it becomes a part of you. And then you have personal growth and it's so easy when you travel, then when you show up at events and you have to speak on different subjects, then all that information come alive in a totally different perspective.
Yeah.
And then people go, ooh, wow, well, yeah, aren't you great? Aren't you wonderful? I'm thinking, what?
Yeah.
So, no, I'm just a student. That's all I'm doing. I'm learning. I'm just giving you the information. That's what it's about. Yeah.
Eric says he spends 500 grand a year on personal development. I don't spend anywhere near that much, but I spend a pile. Do you just go, are you constantly, I see you everywhere, so I know the answer to this question. You are out there a lot doing everything you can to become better at this business. And it's basically people giving you the fundamentals from maybe a slightly different direction, but it's still, and the reason I'm asking this question this way is there's no secret sauce to this business. It's basically relationships and using the skills of the internet to get more related to people, not to learn how to sign people up with a click. And there's no autopilot here. It's all still human beings, right, Jeff?
Yeah, that's right. I always say, noodles are nothing new, right? Noodles have been around. You got different kinds of noodles, but it's what goes in with the noodles, right? So that the noodles are the basics. The sauce is your personality, maybe the way you teach it, or your chemistry, the way you come across with those basics, with those noodles. And so everybody's got to put their sauce in it. And I think most of why sometimes we go to certain events, look at Anthony Robbins' Date with Destiny, is that a lot of the biggest issues or challenges people have is not that they can't learn the skill set. It's not that they can't do this skill set. The issue is mindset. They have mindset issues. They have subconscious beliefs that are not really serving them very well. And they haven't come to terms with those demons. So that's some of the biggest challenges I see with people in this business, because it is that simple. But if it is that simple, why don't they do it? Why doesn't everybody do it? And so, that's where when I talk to leaders about their problems, I remember one time I was in Indonesia. I was have meeting with a leader and his wife. He's got a very big team, and I noticed his shoulders were down when I was walking up, and his expression was a little sagging, and I thought, oh gosh. And then he speaks Bahasa, but his wife speaks English. And so she interpreted and he explained why things weren't going so well. And, the numbers in the convention are down and the volume's a little down. And I thought, And I listened to all this and I finally said to him, well, I have one question I want to ask you. What books are you reading right now?
Good.
And he said, I'm not reading any books. I said, of course, I know you're not reading any books, because if you were, you would not be asking me these questions or saying these things at all. I said, what happened was you became successful and then you quit working on you. And that's what happened here. Because it's not that the numbers are down. It's your thinking is down. And so I gave him I suggested that he read. And I said, when you get done with that first book, I want you to reach out, message me, and tell me what you've learned and how it's impacted your life.
Cool. We got to take a break.
If I don't hear from you, go ahead.
We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back right after this. It's Tom Chenault Show on the Genesis Communication Network. All right, we're back. All right, I am telling you, this is a great day. I know this is the break, so I don't even have to act like I'm a radio announcer. I can act like the slob that I am. Pamela Schwartz, thank you for all the beautiful comments out there. And thank all of Caroline Powell. Thank you for being such a little angel. David Peters, I know that Jeff is your idol. And Jeff, you are so loved. You have no idea. I mean, it's crazy.
Thank you.
I mean,
need all the help I can get, Tom.
Loved. And, your skill set.
You inspire me, Tom.
Yeah, well, yeah. You just hope you live this long.
You do. I turned 63. I turned 63 this month.
I'll tell you. And I'm almost 68. I'm building a big house. Everybody goes, "Are you crazy?" Most people are moving out, and I go, you know what? With all this money coming in, I can do one of two things. I can put it in the bank and give it to my kids and give it to charity and all that jazz, or I can build a beautiful grandfather trap that I can just let the kids come to until I finally do die, like probably the day after I move in, and it's going to be perfect. So my whole goal is I'm not going to die. I'm in great health and I'm loving my life, but at the end of the day, man, I want to go.
Where are you building the house?
Right here in Longmont, Colorado, and it's gorgeous. It's right on it's on a lake. It's got water skiing. It's got paddle boarding. It's got fishing. It's got a big fire pit for my AA meetings down on the water. It's got plenty of room, and it's going to be magic. So you got to come to Longmont, which is right by Boulder and Estes Park, and visit us and see the headquarters.
Mountains.
We're right at the base of the mountains.
Can you see mountains?
Can you see mountains?
Ah, wow.
Oh my God. Yeah, you can see mountains.
Where
all right.
You are, where you're.
Yeah, you can see a whole lot more mountain.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And it's the home that contactmapping.com built. So I have to put an ad in every one of these because my son is home watching this, and he's the president of Contact Mapping, and his partner, Rick Manelius, who is our CTO, the PhD from MIT, is sitting in the next office making sure that I give him the proper ad coverage. So go to contactmapping.com. Everything I do is contact mapping. I just got done talking to a guy that was an incredible guy. The movie McGuire was modeled off of the guy that was up in my office upstairs. And I gave him Bob Beaudine's great book, The Power of Who, because Bob Beaudine's the most powerful man in the NFL you've never heard of. And this guy, Sully, had never heard of Bob Beaudine. So today I got to hook those two guys together, and Sully is the coolest, most charismatic accountant, lawyer you've ever met in your life. and he was a sports agent for years. His stories are unbelievable, and he's just fashioned a great career out of that. And Bob Bodine, of course, wrote The Power of Who and the book Two Chairs, which is a very, very great spiritual Christian book. And we love them both. So all I do, really, truly, I know nothing about network marketing. I am the connector of connectors, and I love that about me. I know a guy. So if you want to learn how to do what I did to get where I got, go to contactmapping.com. We'll be right back. And we're back for the final segment of the Tom Chenault Show. And we have got my man, Jeff Altgilbers. And that's a tough name to say for me for some reason. And I have interviewed everybody
You're
from.
doing better than Ray.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if you know this, but my life has been radio. I've had a huge radio career to the point of interviewing Donald Trump, Robert Kiyosaki, Maria Bartiromo, Kramer, all those people. And every day I had to, on that job, it was a full-time job, all over Colorado during drive time. And I had to interview serious people off Wall Street, and they took it extremely personally if I mispronounce their names. So I'm very cognizant of that. And your name has got some really interesting syllables to it. And not only did I watch all your stuff, I paid particular attention to the pronunciation of your name. And your wife, talk about your wife. How long have you been married? You got 2 kids, right?
We do. 12 years we've been married, and then we have 2 children. When I met Michelle, she had a 5-year-old, Alexander, and that's the one I took to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And then Arthur we had together later.
It's just awesome, isn't it? Is there anything more glorious than spending the rest of your life having some dough with the woman that you want to be with every minute of every day, and 2 wonderful kids to share the world with? Is that just the most glorious thing ever?
It is. I mean, you talked about that you're building a big house for your grandkids.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I did here. So I lived on the island of Guam, and I met her when I went to Taiwan. When I went over, I didn't know anybody in Taiwan, and I didn't know Mandarin Chinese. So I was going over there just to prospect and hunt. And then in the evening, she played piano at a piano bar, actually. And I got to be careful. There might be some AA people on here, but but that's what I met her. And so we information because she played the piano so well and sang. And so then we dated and then got married. And then when she was pregnant with Arthur, I thought, okay, I've been overseas for 5.5 years. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to raise kids in Taipei. It's too hot in Guam. We're going to go back. I'm going to take them to the United States. So I flew back to Tennessee and in Gatlinburg here, where that's the gateway of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. My father used to bring the family up here to vacation. And so I thought, why not raise kids here? And I ended up buying a mountain house across from the national park. So all our views are of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And so we bought this 4,500 square foot house. And then I renovated it. And then I added on 6,500 square feet to that house.
Holy mackerel.
So now, we have yeah, it's a big place. And then we got 5,000 square feet of cedar decking. And so I entertain here, the kids play here, and we have a lot of different visitors that come and stay with us. And what's nice about this resort mountain is when I bring in leaders, I can put them up in cabins, and then we use this large 2,500 square foot entertainment room for parties and things like that. And matter of fact, Ray did a training here when there was a hurricane in Florida. He decided to get away from Florida. He came up to Tennessee and to Gatlinburg. And then after his event, we had a barbecue here at the house. So we had everybody over here. So all these people from different companies, it was really cool.
Oh man. And everybody, can you hear what the end of the rain, the pot of gold at your number one, it's going to move, it's going to get smaller, or it's going to be completely gone. In network marketing, I'm telling you, the pot of gold is there, and it's always even bigger than you thought it was going to be when you got there. And what this guy's life is a life that's possible for every one of you. I want you to take a hard look at both of us and just think about yourself. Could you do it? Yeah, sure, you could. We don't have any skills that you don't have that you can't learn. So the big question is, why don't you? And I will tell you, follow Jeff. I mean, he's everywhere. He's easy to find. Just go plug into his trainings. My friend Dr. AJ down in Australia follows you. People talk to me, David Peters, people talk to me about you nonstop. And the reason they talk to me about you, Jeff, and I'm just going to be laser straight, is because they wish I was more like you. And the problem is I'm not. I mean, that you are better at what you do than I am. But my ego is such that I got no problem saying, you know what, go learn from him and come back home. This guy's a man of the world. He's not going to bring you into his company. He's just going to love on you. You can learn his stuff by watching it and go do that. And I love that about you, Jeff. You are a magic human being given back to the planet. I can't ask for any more than that.
Well, you were very kind, but I think you're totally awesome. And I think we're just different. And one thing I learned, even in Facebook Lives, there's certain other network marketing rock stars out there that are very entertaining. Let's just put it that way. Their energy levels and things like that. And I thought, if I got to be that, then that's not me, man. I just don't do that.
Yeah.
That's just not my personality.
Well,
And so, the thing about it is, what I've learned is that whatever your style is, there's millions of people out there that are going to attract to that.
yep.
And that's what I love about it. So, but I think the thing I love about you, Tom, is your character rings out so loud. And character is everything in this business. It is everything.
That's what I protect most.
It's what determines how long you're going to get paid.
Yep. Well, Jeff, we got to go.
You've been getting paid a lot.
Yeah,
that time's up?
No, yeah, we're done. So next week we got Todd Falcone. Don't hang up, Jeff. I'm bringing you back right after this. But thank you all for listening. Okay. Next week it will be the same thing. It was Jeff and Tom. It was awesome. We'll see you all next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're not off the air. People are still watching us. Jeff, last thing I want to say to you is don't change a thing. And if I can ever do anything, if I can ever send people to one of your trainings, when you get your book, if we can help you by buying some, giving some away on the show, anything we can do. Nice guys finishing first is what we want to do. I'll call you about the ANMP because we need you speaking down there. But you're truly what I want to be when I grow up, and I just want to thank you a lot for that.
You're awesome.
All right, man. Marianne, get us out of here. Everybody have a great day. See you.